this is something that anyone needs to sit down for if you're not already sitting down. The 49ers have narrowed their universe of potential quarterback selections at number 3 to 2 guys, Mac Jones, Trey Lance. I think it's always been narrowed to 1. I don't get this. Is this part of some broader effort to ensure that the first 3 picks in the draft aren't all known going into Thursday night? We already know the first 2. I still don't buy the idea that your guy Kyle traded all that stuff to go to number 3 and didn't know who the hell he was taking, Chris.
I mean, listen, I'm with you. I don't know what else to say. I would think that, yes, he knew who he was going to take, but the fact that we're here this far from the draft and that we still are having this conversation, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. I have a hard time believing that Trey Lance isn't truly a part of the equation. And then maybe we need to just go back to like what John Lynch said at that press conference, right after they made the trade. We like the quarterbacks in this draft. So maybe they weren't lying. Maybe they were legitimately like, hey, wait, we like all 3, so we're willing to get up here and we're going to, as we were saying back then, take fate into our own hands. Yeah, I would think Shanahan has one guy he likes for sure. I would, but they continue to do their due diligence. I don't know if a Trey Lance grew on him or whatever else. I don't have the answers to that. But I think at this point, the fact that we hear these rumors all weekend, I think it's a safe assumption to say, no, that we wouldn't be still hearing this if it was just lock, stock, 2 smoking barrels. It's Mac Jones. There must be some dialogue still in that 49ers organization on what to do here at the number 3 pick.
And the sub-headline to this is that Justin Fields is now out of the mix, so they have at least scratched one name off if that name was ever even on the list in the first place. They did go to his pro day 2. They went to Trey Lance's pro day 2. They went to Mac Jones' pro day 2. So many of these quarterbacks having 2 pro days this year because they couldn't do private workouts. So that opportunity to get to know a guy well off the grid, that just wasn't there. Let me throw something at you because, look, ideally in these NFL headquarters, everyone's always on the same page. There's no ulterior motive. There's no separate agenda. Is it possible that Kyle is and always has been and always will be Team Mac Jones, but there's a little CYA going on? A little I told you so. Trying to build a little I told you so with Lynch getting behind Trey Lance. And if Lance ends up being great and Jones ends up crapping the bed, for some reason I almost said the other word there, which would not be a good way to start draft week.
Great week.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. That would have been great. But could it be that John Lynch is playing a little bit of a political game here and staking out some Trey Lance territory in the event that Lance is great and Jones stinks, and he picks up some estimation, some esteem, some cred in the eyes of Jed York, the owner of the team? You think that could be going on?
Mike, I don't know if it's exactly that. I do get the sense, and because I hear this from other people in the league. Yeah, there's people in the front office that love Trey Lance there in San Francisco. There's no doubt about it. I've heard it from multiple people. So I don't know if it's, John Lynch trying to play a political game. I've heard one of their, top personnel guys. One of them, I hope I don't butcher the name here. Is it Adam Peters?
Adam Peters.
Yeah, Adam Peters, right? There's the rumor around the NFL that he's in love with Trey Lance. You talk to anybody kind of in the know, that's what you hear. So there's obviously people in the organization in his camp. There's no doubt about that. Added to, listen, I have a hard time sitting here on a Monday right before the draft too, thinking that, the way it looks to me here on the outside looking in, that, Shanahan's he's feeling the pressure of this pick. I mean, people are ready to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge when they heard Mac Jones might be the number 3 pick. So I do wonder if the pressure's getting to him a little bit. I mean, really, it looked like we were going to have marches in the street that Mac Jones was number 3. So many people were mad there. So there's that, but it's interesting nonetheless. And listen, I don't think a report comes out like this because, like you said, Mike, there's no benefit for the 49ers to have this report out, to be like, what are they, playing favorites with Trey Lance agent or anything like, you know what I mean? There's no reason. So I think at base level, we need to take it for what it is, and that there might be a possibility here that it's not Mac Jones, and maybe Trey Lance is more in this conversation than I would have ever thought.
I mean, we could go ultra next level and suggest that Kyle Shanahan is trying to dupe one of his former employers into taking Trey Lance, right, at number 4, the Falcons. But I
know, right? It has no benefit to him, right?
Who cares what the Falcons do?
Yeah. So that's where I get into a little, Mike, of just like, it's interesting. Hey, the public pressure. I'm a Mac Jones fan. Trey Lance has an interesting skill set, as we've talked about. The way he can run. His arm is very powerful. It's gifted. It's just inconsistent. I think you've heard me say that too. But it's going to be 2 different offenses too. That's where I look at it and go, whoa, that could be intriguing. Listen, I think Mac Jones could be like Drew Brees or Matt Ryan in the Shanahan offense. Trey Lance, we got a taste of that RG3 offense a few years ago, right, down in Washington. Maybe Shanahan's toying with that in his brain, saying, let's do that. Let's see what I got with that run game I got, and now you add Trey Lance to the run game too. So I don't have an answer for you, but that would be the logic I would use, as just sitting here as a guy that follows football in the 49ers.
Let me rewind to October of 2017 when the 49ers traded for Jimmy Garoppolo. That was between when they didn't take a close look at the quarterbacks available in the 2017 draft because Kyle Shanahan, and he has since essentially confirmed that, he thought he was getting Kirk Cousins in free agency the next year. What happened in the organization to get Kyle to back away from waiting for Cousins and accept Garoppolo? Because there were stories at the time that he wasn't happy about it. And we've always thought he's in charge there. Well, somebody pulled the trump card on him and traded for Jimmy G. And it makes me wonder, to the extent that those forces were successful then, are those forces being activated now on Trey Lance? That's what's fascinating to me about this. I almost feel like he's being ganged up on between Adam Peters, John Lynch, maybe Jed York, maybe Parag Marathe. I don't know, but I almost feel like there's this effort to get him to just forget about Mac Jones. Let's keep Jimmy G for a year. Let's get Trey Lance ready. He's going to be even better long-term than Mac Jones. I know you want to flip the switch now to somebody else. Let's do it this way. Let's give Garoppolo 1 year. Let's go to Trey Lance in 2022, and we're going to be a lot better off because Lance has a higher ceiling. I feel like someone's pushing him to do that.
Mike, I feel the same way. It's kind of what I was saying before. It just seems like that. This keeps percolating over the last 5-6 days, and you just seem to continue to hear this rumor of Trey Lance. So obviously there's somebody there. And then even some people who have talked about it, in the media, where I'm not going to name names, but I know they know people in San Francisco. So that makes me think like, oh, that came, I'm not saying it from Kyle, but that came from, I know he talks to somebody in San Francisco. Like there's just been too many things there where I can connect dots for me not to think it's somewhat real here. I think the other thing I'll say to just what you said right there, Mike, if they draft Trey Lance, I still want to say, yeah, he's raw, but so what? Play him. This is the problem with Trey Lance. It's like, I don't know if I want to sit him for a year because he sat last year and he didn't get to throw the ball but a ton the year before. So I'm more of the guy like, hey, you pick him at number 3, try to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. You can run the ball, and through the run, make the pass game easier for a guy like Trey Lance and see where it goes from there. But, I mean, again, I'll be shocked if that's the way it goes. I really would. I just thought for sure we'd be seeing Mac Jones at number 3, and we'd see something like that Matt Ryan Atlanta Falcons offense that we saw in 2016. So this is big news, something to follow here.
This is the problem with having options, because at some point you got to pick a lane. Yeah. You have to select a door, and that means you are going to, the bigger of an uncertainty it is, you are going to have to say, well, there goes the other guy, and he may end up becoming a Hall of Famer with someone else, and we may have picked the wrong one. That has happened from time to time where teams face that either or, and it either works or it doesn't.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.